back. Hello, everybody. This is the Monkees podcast. I am Takura McCullough, who will not speak too quietly. I hear you out there. I will keep it up volume. Too loud. That's me. Too loud, Takura. And we're back with our co-host, Jason Van Glass.
I'm a quiet person.
Yeah, you'll hate that guy.
This is the loudest I've ever been.
And we are back for yet another episode of the Monkees. How you feeling this time, Jason? You awake?
Pretty good. The coffee's working.
No, this is a completely different day.
And that's why I've never been louder.
Yes. Yay, coffee.
I've taken a lot of caffeine and it's brought me to this energy level.
Thank God.
So if I'm too manic,
whoa.
You just let me know.
Okay. I think you're peeking on the mic a little bit.
Okay.
So last time we talked about Nick at Night episodes. What about the music? Like any songs permeate your
from the Monkees
coolness?
Or just music in general?
Just music. Any songs that you know from the Monkees.
I'm familiar with their 3 or 4 most famous songs.
Okay, which would be
the one.
The theme. Hey,
sure,
hey, we're
the theme, the other one. I am familiar with their, I would say probably even 5 or 6 of their songs.
Okay.
I would say I have more familiarity with their music than
than the show.
Even if I don't know the titles.
Right,
again.
yeah. Like Daydream
I could
Believer,
easily identify a Monkey song if I heard it.
Last Train to Clarksville.
Sure, all of them.
Okay. All right. Ever roller skate to them, school dance, or you just hear them shopping? Where?
No, I think I have maybe a wide net familiarity with just 60s music and music in general.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not something you went down and bought.
Grew up listening to the oldies station.
Oh, okay.
Which had probably Daydream Believer and a couple of other songs, but also I just I'm a record collector.
Nice.
But I don't know their deep cuts.
Okay. Well, I didn't expect anybody to. Nobody should. Really. That's too much. I don't know their deep cuts, really.
Are they still making music?
I think there is, as of this taping, I think there is a Mike and Mickey live show being released. There's a live album from Mike and Mickey. I don't know which performance it is. I think it might be one of the Australian ones. I don't know. Yeah.
Is the show quite popular in Australia?
I don't know.
Sometimes things are just popular there.
I know they went on tour in Australia, as the Force, in the 60s. I think they went there. I think I don't know. I might be getting confused with ABBA at this point because it's all a mishmash in my head now.
There's 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 of them. International. Invented music videos. If you ask their fans,
I'm going to choose to believe that they are celebrated in Australia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
Because that's true about some other things.
Yeah.
Arj Barker, Tom Lehrer. These are very popular.
Really, Tom Lehrer? Really?
So famous there.
I did not know that.
Banned from the country of Australia in the 60s.
Really?
Australia is a censorship dictatorship. Can't play Grand Theft Auto there. And you also cannot go to a Tom Lehrer concert as of 1966, let's say.
Wow.
Too risque.
Wow. Was it the pigeons that they were concerned about?
Just the culture in general could not handle Tom Lehrer's piano songs. And I believe the tour was maybe canceled mid thing by the government, like a 2-week tour. Dang. Something of that nature happened. And in part for that reason, I mean, he was already playing there, so he was already somewhat well known. But I think also in part for that reason, he's very well known there.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, banning people. I mean, sometimes it backfires. It's a Streisand effect.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever worked once.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Somebody being banned ever work? Didn't Germany ban Scientology?
Did that work?
I don't know. I don't know. Good question. Hey, Scientologists. Love you. All right. So let's move on.
They have great taste in architecture.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the things I agree with them on. Also, psychology is a lie. So those 2 things are the main 2 things.
Murderers. Torture. What is the museum called? Museum of
Psychiatry and Industry of Death.
And thank you. Industry of Death. Woo. All right. Moving on to episode 10 is what we're going to watch today. Episode 10. Here Comes the Monkees, because that is the pilot. I took off my glasses to read this better. Didn't help. Gonna put my glasses
Episode
back
10
on.
is the pilot?
Yeah. Don't you love
they
when shows do that?
They front-loaded 9 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
How bad is the pilot?
Oh boy. Okay. Here we go.
There's an ominous fact you just told me.
In
They're
the,
like, we got to let this show establish itself before we let people see this.
right. I think it might be.
Sometimes it's the second or third one.
No, they did 9.
Has any show ever waited longer to be like, just slip this one in the middle? No one will notice.
I don't know. Well, you'll see it. All right. In the Monkees' celluloid debut, the group is hired to play at Vanessa Russell, Robyn Millan's, Sweet 16 dance party. However, after falling for Davy Jones, the birthday girl's grades falter, and the band must first help Vanessa pass her history exam before making their gig at her shindig. Production notes. The pilot for the Monkees series was filmed in November 1965, except for Davy Jones and Michael Nesmith's black and white screen tests, which were shot in October 1965.
The screen tests are in the pilot.
And first publicly broadcast a full year later. Portions of the show were shot on locations in San Diego, California. Watch out for cameo appearances from famed screenwriters Paul Mazursky, who I believe partially wrote the episode. Yeah, wrote the episode. Man on the Street reporter.
And a couple of other guys that did screen tests.
And Larry Tucker.
Just going to slip that in.
Dr. Turner, as well as brief glimpses of the Monkees' prototype car. This not-so-hip vintage Woody-styled wagon was quickly replaced by a supercharged red Pontiac GTO Monkeemobile when production on the Monkees series kicked off in June 1966. Also, if you listen closely, you can hear a small portion of Boyce and Hart's original rendition of I Wanna Be Free in the scene where Davy imagines he is handcuffed to Vanessa. All right, so I believe what happened was they showed the pilot to like a test audience. And
What'd they say?
These boys are...
Did they like the test footage from the auditions in the episode?
No. Here's the thing. They said, these boys are jerks.
Oh.
Why are we caring about what these boys do?
Always falling into cakes.
They are terrible. And so they put the test footage on the end of the episode to show, no, look, they're real kids who you like. Look, here's their screen test. And so I believe that's why the screen test is attached to this episode, because
it's not in the episode. It's just like bonus footage.
Yes, at the end.
That's somewhat more reassuring.
Yes.
That they just didn't have a long enough episode.
They're like,
do we have any other footage laying around?
Well, they did do that a lot. They would just interview the boys at the end of the episode.
Oh, I
because
see.
they had it wasn't long enough.
Because the balloon bits didn't
More
fill
pretzels.
22 minutes.
More pretzels. All right, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
All right, here we go. Yay! And we're back. That was something.
The auditions were so good.
Yes.
I was skeptical,
Mm-hmm.
and it was much better than any other part of the show.
Exactly. See, now
The whole show should just be them unscripted.
Yes. That's why they have the bits, the romps. It's just them. Do you want to start with the screen tests?
Yes, we have to.
All right. Do you want to start with Davy or Mike?
We got it. Let's work backwards.
Okay, Mike.
It's the best audition I've ever seen. He comes in so confident.
Yes.
And there's like sort of like there's like a audition advice where it's like, oh, you if you don't want it, if you've given up, you come in where you're not worried or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's given up or he's just always this way. He comes in so ready to tank this audition.
Yes.
He's like talking back to the producers. He's like breaking stuff.
He's looking around.
He's screwing around with the set that they're borrowing from some other TV show.
Yes.
They ask him to do stuff. He's just like, no.
I know. Tell us the story about no.
Nah, it's a boring story. Hope I get this job, man.
Mike is the best. I mean, so when I watched it as a kid, that was the only good part of this episode, and I was like in love with Mike. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Mike is amazing.
Both of them are crazy charming in these auditions.
And then I saw it again a few years ago. I watched the Mike audition again, and I was like, Mike's kind of a jerk. He's really being a jerk. And then now I see it again. I'm like, nah, I'm back on board. Mike's awesome.
He is being a jerk, but like I say, this is some final screen test maybe. Like they've met before
definitely.
Or something. This isn't the first round.
Right.
But also there is like the classic advice about like, instead of being nervous, like just transcend it. You don't want it or you already have it. It doesn't matter. You're better than this. Yes. And that's like what you're supposed to trick yourself into believing. But he just comes in having fully embodied that advice. Maybe the advice is based on this one screen test.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about it before, and I believe he said he was terrified.
Yeah.
Completely out of his element. He's just a songwriter. He's just a singer, and he's like
he's on the cusp of being cast in like a life-changing like 100-episode
TV show
project.
And yeah, he tells it like he was terrified, and he just
I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And I love his being a girl versus being a strong silent type. That's,
he has bits that aren't even bits, but he's just like he refuses to participate in the process. But he does so in a like flamboyant and charismatic way. It's like, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, the way he just opens that door, just forces the door open, stomps in, says hi Ed or whatever. I don't know what that is a reference to. Yeah, Michael Nesmith, ladies and gentlemen. And like so much slang too, so much 60s like.
Even the producers are using it.
Yeah, because remember there were those two young. They're like young guys.
What's your bag?
What's
man?
your bag? Yeah, poor Davy.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what that means.
It's like
bag.
What's your bag?
My bag.
And then his best. Do you make a folk sound? Do you make a rock sound?
Oh, I make a terrible sound.
Oh, Davy Jones, so cute. So yeah, so Davy's screen test. He's got his little hat on, and he just looks so tiny and adorable. He's just the tiniest, sweetest little thing, in his little accent. And just giggly.
Yeah, you can see how they both got cast in this.
Oh, definitely.
They're very, very charming.
Yeah.
Like off the cuff.
So good. And Davy laughs at their jokes. They like insult him and he's just like, oh, whatever. You guys are funny. I would be like, what? How dare you?
5'3" in boots.
Yes. Talks about being a jockey.
Sure.
Talks about they told him to put his hair down over his ears. He admits that he just like put his hair that way just for the audition, which I would be, I'd be like, no, I'm always like this.
I always look like a beetle.
Yeah, I was like, no. Anything else? Yeah, making a terrible sound is okay. Oh, and then Mike uses the word tump. I don't know if you noticed that. He says he tumped over the general's airplane.
Yeah, what? They're using a lot of words.
That is a word that I remember. Tig Notaro would talk about how that's like a Southern word that people don't use that word very often. And I feel like I've
tump.
To tump something over, to tip it over.
Word a day, we've learned a new word.
Anyway, so
try and incorporate it into your vocabulary.
Yeah, and it's something I never.
The next week in conversation, just casually slip it into conversations at the supermarket.
I tumped over that display case. Sorry, a display case. Well, I don't know. That's a bit much. All right. So, anything else on the screen tests?
The whole show should just be the screen test.
Well. That would be a very short show, unfortunately.
No, every week there's 22 minutes of them just aggressively denying what the producers want them to do. Just evading questions and shooting down, being like prompted into bits or whatever. Dance for us. Like, you must be mental.
And did you notice he said, you must be joking in his screen test? And they just basically wrote that into almost every episode.
You must be joking.
You must be joking. Or what do you say? You must be out of your bird. I thought birds were women.
I agree. I don't think that's the right slang. I think I wrote down, you guys must be out of your birds.
Yeah.
And I think that's not something we don't know. I think it's not correct.
He's just,
Birds are women in the context of this slang.
Did Davy make it up? Or did the writers make him say it?
You must be out of your birds.
All right. Let's jump to the beginning of this pilot, which, it's something that shocked me because I don't think I've watched it on this Blu-ray before. It's a beautifully shot.
It's a cinematic film. It's not shot on a soundstage. A lot of natural light.
Yes, just beautiful.
A lot of exteriors that aren't just Burbank.
You get these angles on their house that I was like, oh, look at that.
Sure, you get the exterior of the house. You're like, oh, cool.
I remember when this would be shown on MTV, it looked like mud. It was dark. I couldn't tell what they were wearing. It was awful. That the opens with the man on the street interview. I was
very weird.
Confused as a child.
Opens with a character who's not in the show.
Yeah, I was like, who are these people?
Really introducing this random street pedestrian and focusing on him for the first minute.
Yes. And it's also the writers of the episode. Why would you do that? Those are
those are the
that's
writers.
Paul Mazursky and
Well, that answer. What do you mean? That now everything. I no longer have any follow-up questions.
Why would somebody
The episode of the pilot opens on two random weirdos who happen to be the writers and are not in the show, but they could be if the executive. What's the network think? Should the show be about two weird-looking adults? No, the charismatic children. Okay, well, we tried.
Why did they let them do that? That's the thing that's shocking to me. I understand writing yourself.
Are they? They must be the creators of the show. They wrote the pilot, but they're not the like.
I don't.
Who's the creator of the Monkees?
I think it's I think it's Oh my gosh, I
Who
always
gets
get this
the
wrong.
money.
It's Raybert. It's Robert Rafelson and Bert Schneider.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But
think
that's not the two guys that wrote themselves into the pilot.
no, the guys that wrote themselves. That's Paul Mazursky and Larry Tucker. I think I said Tucker.
Okay.
Yeah. I dropped my notes. Excuse me, everyone.
I'll fill with just clever banter.
Thank you. That was very clever.
Great.
So they start with the man in the street interview and would you help a man in trouble? And then finally the monkeys show up beating each other,
Sure.
beating up Davy. Then Davy overacting beautifully. Somebody
a
help me.
lot of people who are not the subject of the show talk for a long time.
Yes, it
and
is
then the
very
monkeys come in from off camera, but in a kind of like bustling way where they don't say anything or distinguish any personality traits of any kind. They just sort of like yell from off screen.
It's so bizarre.
And that's the pilot.
And then
Like, well, we've established everything you need to know to 100 episodes of this.
yeah, hence why they needed to put the screen test on, because
The pedestrian will be in it every time.
the old lady with the change belt,
The news guy.
the drunkard at the bar. And they all come back at the end, by the way. They all come back at the end. So then there's like a weird like silent movie title card to start the episode because we want to harken back to the days of vaudeville and silent film because kids love that.
Save money.
Yes. And then they're all in a record store. Apparently they work there. But they have their instruments with them.
I don't think we're gonna make this make sense.
But
they're hanging out with a drum set in a business, talking to a manager.
That's somebody's dad. I can't remember who, but that is somebody famous. That's somebody famous's dad. I mean, like now we would go.
That's probably true of everyone in every one of these.
Yeah,
episodes.
everybody is somebody's dad. But no, I mean, I remember reading something recently. And I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of interesting. I'll remember that for the podcast. Didn't, but yeah, that's somebody interesting. Hopefully, Jake will let us know who that is. And like he's like, oh, I got you guys a gig. You're gonna go play at a Sweet 16. They're like, no, we're too good for that. And then he's like, it pays $100 in cash. And
$150.
Oh, $150.
An insane amount of money.
Yeah, that is
You'd be lucky
crazy.
to get that now.
Yes, exactly. For a gig, your Sweet 16 party.
You're playing a quinceañera. It pays also $150
And then they
for four of us.
Oh, wow. We have the information. Kurt Russell's father
Is the news interviewing guy?
No, is the manager of the band, the guy that's in the
Oh.
record store. Is he the one that like owned a baseball team or something? Yeah.
Wow, Kurt Russell's father.
Yes.
And then separately, Kurt Russell made it in show business.
Yes.
Wow, it's all coming together.
Great. Okay. I knew that was something fun. All right. So Kurt Russell's dad tells him about the gig. They all, when they find out how much it's for, they sing in Sweet 16 and 4-part harmony. That's not their voices. I don't know who those people are, but somebody sings. All right. And then so we see their horrible car. You guys liked it.
I think it's fun.
It's like a McDonald's Woody. It's gross. It's red and yellow.
I think you'd be very popular if you had that car now.
Well,
I think a lot of people would talk to you and take photos of the car.
it looks like Ronald McDonald's shoe.
I think you'd
car.
get high fives from strangers. You'd be driving and you'd reach out and just high five people.
Probably.
It's a car made of barnwood.
Yes.
It's also practical because they can move their band equipment around
Of
in,
course, exactly.
which the Monkey Mobile is not.
No.
Monkey Mobile has a lot of fins and a lot of seems pretty bubble oriented.
Yeah, it's a convertible, which is
Similar to the car that Homer designs.
Which
like a pretty.
Which one was that? Not the Canyonero.
No. Homer designs like the dream car.
Was it like the Homer or something?
And it's like it's
Yeah,
sort of
that
like
big
that, which
bubble.
is a great car, but it's not great if you have to move a bunch of band equipment around.
Right.
You want a Woody.
Yeah, yes, of course. Logical. Of course, logic. Look at you injecting logic.
You want, and it's also insane looking. It's painted like all sorts of, it's good. It's a good car. They should have kept that car.
Yeah, no, they can't sell Pontiacs with that car. So and again, I wrote down the quality is so good.
It's filmed at a much higher, yeah.
It is so good. So they go to audition for I don't even remember the girl's name. The girl's Sweet 16. There's like the Swedish Rhythm Kings are playing or something. I like them. And then they go up and there's a terrible joke, an absolutely terrible joke where Mike asks for a G because he's tuning his guitar, and Davy in a rare.
This might be the first joke in the episode.
Yeah,
like 8 minutes in.
He's holding a guitar. They never let Davy hold a guitar ever again for the series, by the way.
Okay.
He rips off a string to give it to Mike. As a musician, I am offended by this joke. It's like, wow, that is commitment to a bit that nobody. No, you don't rip a string off. It's terrible. Now you have to go put on another string. You've wasted time. You've wasted money.
Add it to IMDb. Goofs. This is disrespectful of guitars.
Disrespect, and they're so poor. But yeah,
for this reason, you're gonna never allowed to touch a guitar again.
That's what it was. Gonna rip off a string just for y'all can't afford that. They can't afford that joke. All right. And then they audition with "I Want to Be Free." Is the fast version. They audition with the fast version. This episode
also has 3 songs in it, but it's just that one song at 3 different speeds.
Yes.
Another great pilot saving money trick.
Yes.
It's like, that's about the band. They have all these songs. Right now we just have one song.
One song.
It's going to play. It's going to be the sad version. It's going to be like the distorted version.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. So, and I hate this song. As a child, I hated this song. As an adult, I hate this song. I was like, I want to be, you don't have to make up like a bunch of metaphors and similes.
Sings it at the Sweet 16. He looks like he has food poisoning. He looks so pained. And I don't understand why.
And maybe hadn't discovered his TV singing voice yet. I mean, face.
He looks, he's like sweating. I couldn't tell if it was on purpose at first. It looked like he's just like having like a nervous breakdown.
Is that his falling in love face?
It's like his cruise ship food poisoning face. He looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's not a good look.
His eyes are like sunken, and he's making this like pained.
Yeah, that pained
expression.
That pained 60s singing expression. Oh man, you should see when Peter sings on some episodes. It's terrible. It just like it looks like he's about to sneeze, but he's screaming at the same time. Yeah. Yeah.
But then they fall in love anyway.
They fall in love, and the girl, they get stars in their eyes.
They get pinkly-eyed with each other.
And she tilts her head in a weird way. Now, I thought she looked like she was sick. When she tilts her head to look at Davy, and just the way her head tilt and the lack of focus in her eyes, it's bizarre.
Not much was written for her. All she had to do in the whole episode was just like
Davy,
look agog at a boy over and over again.
Davy.
And then the two dudes that wrote this were like, that's good.
Yeah, that's what girls do, right? 16-year-old girls. They just say, Davy. Oh, update. We have an update.
Rudy the manager and his daughter, Jill.
Oh, that's who Jill. I wrote, who is Jill in my notes?
Were supposed to be recurring characters on the show before disastrous ratings of the pilot led to most of their scenes being cut.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. What's his name?
Rudy the manager, played by Bing Russell, Kurt Russell's father.
Oh, sorry.
And his daughter?
Jill?
Is she in it at all?
No, Jill is the girl that randomly shows up on the beach saying, yeah, she flunked her final. And then she randomly is at the record store too, talking to them. And I was like, who is this girl? Why is she there? Thank you. I was wondering.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I get it, because the show is better without like a father figure.
Okay, you might not have realized this. 2 out of 3 people found this IMDb trivia interesting.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea.
Okay.
In 1966, the Monkees musicians act out a skit depicting the death of Alexander Hamilton to educate Vanessa. The same historical event, now this is fascinating, was featured 49 years later in the hit Broadway musical Hamilton. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh my gosh. That's
so
the
if I'm reading this right,
thing?
this guy, Lin-Manuel Miranda, made a musical called Hamilton?
Yeah.
Based on this episode of the Monkees.
Fascinating. I had no idea.
It's IMDb.com.
That's great. That is good to know.
You learn something new every day.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Fascinating stuff. Really a lot to think about there.
Lin-Manuel, Monkees fan.
Apparently, whoever he is.
Yeah, some guy. I don't know.
It doesn't say if the musical was successful or not.
I think, I don't know. He might have a movie coming out, I think.
And did the Monkees get paid for that?
no. This is different. This is like a New York movie. And it must have been inspired by like
by the Lin-Manuel guy.
Yeah, I think
who saw this
by
episode.
Selena. I think he saw Selena or
it's kind of
J-Lo or something.
You know, it feels like everyone that worked on this should probably get money from the musical. If the musical made money, I don't know if the musical's a hit or not.
I can't do this anymore. I'm not a good actor.
Sorry. Have you thought about being any of the non-monkey characters in a monkey pilot?
I took improv, everybody. That was something I was gonna say. They did like learn improv. They did like one of the handler people like taught the boys improv. Okay.
They are definitely not as good in the Monkees are not as good in the pilot as they are in other episodes.
Yeah, this pilot.
And part of it's the writing. Part of it is that they acknowledge every joke that is said to them, and that's not their fault.
Oh,
like someone,
okay.
they hand the string of the guitar, and the other guy is just like, "Don't do that." It's like,
I don't need.
We don't need.
Yeah, we don't.
That's
need,
not a. Just to move on.
Yeah, and he says very funny or something like that. All right. So and then we have we go straight into a romp. With the head tilt. Yeah, they're on the swings.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch a version with a commentary by Michael Nesmith, and he points out that she fell sometime in the mud.
Oh, I wrote that down too.
Yeah.
Her ass is covered in mud. In the middle of the montage,
and they just let that
but
go.
We never see why, and also later it's not,
it's gone.
Of course, but also at first I couldn't tell if it was just the clothes were designed terribly because it's the whole back of her pants are just
brown.
She's wearing white pants, but the back are completely brown. And it's like, is this a weird 2-color pant?
Right. I think
the answer is
too.
no. It is definitely covered in mud in a cut for time mud fight.
I know it's mud, and even I think for a second, maybe
there's so much of it.
Yeah, it's terrible. That poor girl. That's not right. They go to Kittyland. Oh, Peter's stripy shirt. Somebody put up on the internet a picture side by side with Taylor Swift wearing a shirt that is like almost exactly Peter Tork's shirt.
So I don't know who Taylor Swift is. This Taylor Swift person also ripped off this episode of the Monkees.
I think
unbelievable.
I think a designer. I don't think it was Taylor.
And the Monkees don't get any money from that?
I think it was a designer who was inspired by the looks of the 60s.
I mean, just
created a shirt.
Ripping off these guys wholesale.
Very similar. Anyway, yeah, the Taylor Swift shirt. And this version of the I Want to Be Free, Mickey sings the bridge. I didn't notice that. But Mickey sings the bridge of the song.
In which of the 3 versions of the one song that
the
played
first
for 12 minutes of this episode?
The fast one, the audition one.
Okay.
And then they go to Kittyland. I don't know where that is. That's probably one of those, beach amusement parks that don't exist anymore. They go to Kittyland. And they're,
right away, he's not happy he's in the relationship.
Shockingly.
And
it ends with him
you mentioned
going,
that test audiences thought these guys were jerks, and I understand why.
Yes, immediately.
The act 1 is like, I want to impress this girl, and then 5 seconds, like they do twinkly eyes at each other, and he's like, I've been trapped by a woman.
They're handcuffed together. He never wants to see her again.
Why is she always bothering me? For the 5 seconds we've been dating.
And then they're on a date.
How do I get out of this?
And then the next scene they're on a date. Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
But even at the date, he's like, I never want to see you again. Like immediately.
No, that's the bridge. The bridge to the date is the line, I never want to see you again. And then she says, when can I see you again? Yeah. And he's like, okay. And
like a weird doom psychedelic grotesque version of the song plays, like a weird distort. Like the second version of the song is like, oh no, I've been trapped by a woman.
And that's the Boyce and Hart version.
Like a weird, like a not sad slow, but like descent into madness slow version of the song plays as he realizes that his life is ruined now because a woman made twinkly eyes at him.
I think that's the Boyce and Hart like demo, I think is what that was. But it's this
want to as he gulps dramatically as he realizes his life, he's been trapped. By a scheming woman who has no lines.
It's like 30 seconds that just chaos happens. And it makes no sense. 30 seconds of falling in love. I hate you. We're on a date. I hate you and I'm chained to you.
Yeah, trapped.
And we're on a date.
Practically married.
And then the episode just goes on. Like those 30 seconds never
But then, and this
happen.
is a spoiler, we're going to jump ahead. Luckily,
Uh-huh.
He immediately makes twinkly eyes at another woman.
Oh, yeah. And then it's
so
over.
Just like a really endearing character choice. And
you can't have him tied down. What girl is going to want to watch a show with
every week I want to see him jilt a lover that he's been dating for over 5 seconds.
Yes, that's every 10-year-old girl's dream.
He seduces a woman, and then if it works, he's no longer interested.
That's you basically summing up the entire run of the show. That's exactly what happens. Okay. Let's move on. Oh yeah, the picture, the horrifying blinking eagle makes its first appearance.
Taxidermy, a big part of the show. That was evident in the pilot already.
Yes.
That's one of the things they kept from the pilot.
Oh, so gross, that giant bird. Yeah, I wrote handcuffs. What? And then second date, and then we have a title card again. Remember the weird vaudeville silent film bit we were doing? We're still doing it. And they do my favorite trope in sitcoms. Don't worry, I'll pass my history final. I flunked my history.
There's like 7 cuts in a row. It's months later.
Yes, and you got confused.
It literally just her. Just like, I'll pass my test. I failed my test. Teacher said I can have another test. I'm in community college now. I work at a mart doing the night shift. But if I learn history, I can get my night degree.
Oh, the tragic life of Vanessa. Oh yeah, Jill shows up on the beach explaining. And apparently Jill
famous Jill character. Now she's the one that got screwed. She's supposed to be in the show The Monkees, and her whole part is cut down to one line where she is not introduced and appears on a beach to just say something like not about herself.
Yeah. Vanessa's flunking out. Yeah.
She told everyone she got cast in something.
Poor Jill.
You're like, oh, the Monkey show that's coming on, right? You're like, yeah. Well, there's been some changes.
Oh, so that's showbiz, Jill. Come on. You know what it's like out here. And then we get the cinematic shot of the beach house. Oh wait, Davy runs off upset.
That exterior shot of the beach house, is that in other episodes? That was a great shot.
That exterior shot is used a lot.
Very cool looking house.
Yes, that is used a lot. Davy's like really upset that she's flunking, runs away. And then like Mike
is he upset? Because he doesn't want to date her. And I think he's creating a scenario where out of false concern for her, it's like, well, yes. I'm ruining her life. She's flunked one test.
Clearly, we can't be together.
So it would be, sort of heroic of me to dump her. Someone back me up on this.
Hey, you didn't hang her up. She got herself hung up.
Like, if anything, I'd be doing her a favor by dating other birds.
You're out of your bird.
Anyone sign off on this?
Davey, that's a little rude, don't you think?
I hear you loud and clear. I'm going to dump her immediately.
Wait, no.
As a favor.
We need the gig.
Because what a good guy I am.
We need the gig, $150. Gosh, this episode. Okay. Slow montage of I Want to Be Free. Then we go back to the cinematic house, the movie set house. Mike has the worst line delivery ever. Then they make a plan on how
those classes paid off eventually.
I think I've seen footage where that's like the audition.
It's crazy how good they are in the auditions.
Yes.
They are so charismatic, and then they are handed a script. I mean, they've never acted before, which is different than just being like telling like an old guy to screw off or whatever. It's like that comes naturally to like some people.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, now memorize this and say these things that might be jokes.
And Mike,
that's pretty stilted.
Mike is terrible.
But also the jokes are not good.
Yeah, she is a pretty groovy girl. What? So they have a fantasy board meeting on how to help Vanessa Russell, and the plan is to kidnap her. So,
good plan.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
So they kidnap her and some furniture. The band has false mustaches on, so Dad doesn't recognize them at all.
Works 100% of the time.
And then we have them at the beach, and they've been buried. Only their head sticking up to sing a little song about Patrick Henry, I think. Yeah. United we stand, divided we fall.
Is that a monk? I don't remember them. I remember them in the sand. I don't remember what they sung.
And
they sing a monkey song, or they sing like a public domain song?
They sing a song. They sing a history fact.
I see.
Patrick
right,
Henry,
because then she passes her test because they told her that like the 3 most mundane things about American history.
Which is Patrick Henry, United we stand, divided we fall.
The questions on this test are like, Alexander blank. And she's like, Hamilton?
Hamilton? No,
and that's where the idea for the musical came from.
Interesting. Very interesting.
According to the fact I just read.
Thanks, IMDb.
Boston blank party. You're like, well, it's clear you've been studying because you knew the word tea.
Tea, yeah. No, she knew the date, which is pretty impressive. She knew the date.
They're useless. Doesn't matter what day it happens
totally
on.
useless. Makes me
Year
thankful.
maybe of some relevance. What possible relevance could the date?
This is why I
be?
hated history in school. School was still like this for me. It's like, what was the date?
Well, was it June 7th or June 12th?
Oh, I don't know.
200 years ago.
It's so bad. God.
Because a lot of other stuff happened on June 8th, so it's kind of important to happen on June 7th.
Kids, stay in school, kids. It's better now.
Don't date a monkey.
Yes, don't.
Especially now more than ever.
If a grown man auditions for your Sweet 16, don't fall in love with him.
Because he's going to jilt you
Yeah,
immediately.
Because he's a grown man.
He's a free bird. Didn't you listen to the song that played 3 times? He wants to be free.
Yes, he told her right from the start.
He's not looking to settle down
Oh, that's why the handcuffs are there.
with some
16
millionaire society girl.
at the Riviera. The Riviera, was that what it was called? The country club was like the Riviera. Oh boy. Okay, so she passes her test, and the teacher shows up at the party wearing a lovely dress. And then she's sad because the monkeys aren't there. And then mom starts crying, and I wrote down "women be crying" because that's basically
That's what the script said too.
Yeah, women be crying. And then they break in. The monkeys are determined to go to this party. I don't know. Well, I guess because Davy's still in love with her. I guess so. They break in, and then they get like their cute little prisoner thing with the spotlight going back and forth, which is a cute little scene. Although the laugh track is so loud that you cannot hear their lines.
Maybe by design. Based on the lines they've been asked to deliver so far.
Maybe, but
we're just like, well, she is a groovy bird.
Oh, she is a groovy bird. No, that's going to be... Do we name our episodes? I don't think we... Well, they're named the episode names, so we can't name our episode She is a Groovy Bird, but if I could, I would. That She is a Groovy Bird. All right, so then they break in. Mike calls the guard evil, which for some reason, as a child, that was my favorite quote from this episode, was just saying, "You're evil." Poor guy's just doing his job, Mike.
Well, it's illuminating to hear that you liked it as a child, because I thought the script could use some punching up.
No, I liked that
where
one.
It's like, well, the structure's here, but the words are wrong.
I liked that one line. Just Mike turning around, coming back and going,
You're a groovy
evil.
bird.
No.
His famous catchphrase that they carried over to the rest of the show, I imagine.
Anyway,
Apropos of nothing, he's always just saying, "She is a groovy bird."
No, my sister and I would like say that to each other. You're evil. We would, yeah.
You're evil.
You're evil. Then like the guy wants them back, invite them to the party. I guess he feels bad because his daughter's crying and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, all the women he knows are crying.
Yes. So
how do you fix it?
So he chases the boys, and of course they think they're chased to kicked out, and so they run. Right. And then it's all vaudeville. And now we've gone back in time to the 20s. I don't know when it's the jokes, the bits are awful. This chase, it's awful.
There's a lot of fast running sped up film in this episode.
Yes. And
yet
music?
the episode comes in a minute short.
Well, that's what they did. They did that wrong.
It's like
just have them jog. Jog.
There's 3 or 4 parts where they run around in high speed, and it's like we could just slow one of these down.
Slow that down.
Or write any dialogue, really.
They knock over a waiter a couple of times. There's a dude at the bar who's not helpful. They do an Old West saloon bit, playing cards where Mike shoots. Yeah. He says he has a chandelier, and he shoots a lamp, not even a chandelier.
A what? They repeat the jokes back.
A chandelier.
Instead of just letting jokes land, they just like acknowledge that a joke theoretically happened every time. It's
You're
like,
right.
A chandelier?
You're right. I never noticed. That is exactly.
You've handed me a guitar string. That's not what I meant at all. Now let's play the one song we have.
Oh, why? It was the screen
I would
test.
have greenlit this.
You would have?
And that's usually, often you watch a pilot and it's not good.
True.
It's hard to make a television show good, especially right away.
Okay.
And this one, I think I would have greenlit in part if I'd seen those auditions. I'd be like, no, we can lock these guys in. These guys we'll figure out a way to make these guys be as charismatic as they are naturally on television eventually.
Yes.
But also it's cinematically shot in a way. To me, it does seem like a marketable idea, even though it's like a failed execution of the idea.
So bad.
It's a better pilot. But have you ever seen the Venture Brothers pilot?
I don't think so.
Have you seen the Venture Brothers?
Yes, I have.
I would not have greenlit the pilot. It's
Interesting.
so lacking in jokes, and the animation's like very much like an animatic, simple.
Interesting.
And it's like the voices and the characters are there, but the like spirit and sense of humor is not. And we're lucky they greenlit it. But that's true of a lot of, you know,
All right.
Seinfeld wasn't funny until like episode 9.
Sorry.
Well, the first 2 seasons are mid-season replacements twice.
Oh.
So the first 2 seasons, I believe, are about 4 episodes each.
I never really got into Seinfeld.
And it takes a minute to figure out whether you're into what it's doing or not. It takes a while to figure out what you're doing.
Okay.
That Julia Louis-Dreyfus should be there every week.
Oh,
an important insight into any TV show is like,
is she not?
She's maybe not intended to be a main part of the show, and it's like, well, this is don't sleep on this.
That's
like you've
shocking.
got this. This should probably be here all the time.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay. Ow! I'm sorry. I'm all tangled up in cords, and there we go. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, terrible. The card room. Mickey's little accent. I'm sure he's doing an imitation of somebody from a Western TV show. It's funny. Then they run back through the bar, and the drunk guy asks them if they're monkeys, and they shake their heads no, wearing terrifying monkey masks.
Sure, very creepy.
Very unsettling. Then they run into...
Test audiences hated that.
Then they run into a rec room where they play ping pong for a while. And this
famous country club sport, ping pong.
And this poor woman...
High society woman compliments them on their skilled
and then in like a
ping pong playing.
A Three Stooges curly voice, like... Somebody says, I know it. What? Who? Why is... And then she gets the ping pong in the mouth, and then the security guard gets the ping pong in the mouth, and then they run away, and then the lady is left standing there dazed. I don't know.
6 minutes of Jill were cut out of the episode, in part to just replace them with unaired screen tests.
Oh, my God. Okay. And then I don't know what happened. I lose interest. I guess he catches them. They go back into the room. All I remember what happens next is Mike announces that Norway is declaring war on Sweden.
The one good joke in the episode.
And
in order to make the band leave,
all Swedish
he announces
nationals.
that all Swedish nationals should report somewhere else, and then people just like pack up and leave. Very funny country club joke.
And they just march off. Yeah. And then Mickey's hair changes to 1966 hair. All of a sudden, his hair has been flat ironed and is longer.
Here's something we've glossed over: the Beatles.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The Beatles posters.
Now, are the Beatles ever pictured in other episodes?
No, I think this is the only time.
For legal reasons, you can't just put the Beatles into your TV show.
Don't think so.
But in this episode, they throw a dart at a poster of the Beatles.
Yes.
Assassinating Ringo.
Yes. And people like online were like, oh no, he must hate the Beatles. I'm like, you guys, first of all,
starting the famous East Coast of the Atlantic Ocean, West Coast of the Atlantic Ocean mop top wars of 1965.
Oh, yeah. People were like, oh, yeah, they hate the Beatles. Look, he threw a dart at them. Okay.
And test audiences responded negatively to this too.
Yes.
Either you're into this or you're not. But if you're into it, you don't want to diss the Beatles.
Yeah, that's bold. It was a bold choice. Right. Yeah. So the reference like, hey, look, we're based on the Beatles, but we hate them. But we have their poster up. But, it's
right.
Weird. And then another title card comes up. Oh, wait, no, we forgot about the dancing. All of a sudden, the country club is full of teens.
Hippie dance, big time.
And all our other characters show up. Except, I don't know, did Jill make it? I don't remember seeing Jill there.
I'm not sure who Jill is.
Poor Jill.
I wonder if it worked out okay for her, despite this devastating turn where she's cut out of the pilot of a TV show that's still on TV 50 years later.
Oh, man.
She'd probably still be getting $1.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jill. The doctor whatever shows up with the old lady that he crossed the street with. I guess
the writers show up.
They're dating now.
People will be asking, why aren't the writers in this? So luckily the writers do come back.
What will the writers think? What are they doing?
What's going on in their lives? Maybe the show should be about them. Anyone else?
And then like they pick on a girl who's I think is a friend of the producer. They just pick on her for some reason.
the title cards didn't work for me, but there's an on-screen joke very reminiscent of Beatles things where they paint on the screen.
Yeah.
Not unlike an Austin Powers movie, or also a correct reference, whatever Austin Powers is referencing, but like, or Pulp Fiction, where you paint
in like Flynn.
You have a acetate layover or something where you've painted words onto a thing, and I liked that.
I do. I like those too.
It said, "Is this a typical teenager?" And then a minute later said, "No, it's the producer's friend." And it's like a fun.
Yeah.
It's maybe the first time we see them break the wall, which the show regularly does, in terms of acknowledging that they're on a TV show or that this is a fictional universe.
You're right. Yeah, it is the first time. Yeah, but it's like episode 10. Well, it's weird. They do it. It's a pilot, but it's episode 10, so we're used to it by now.
Yeah, but it's interesting if that was in the pilot initially, which I feel like it probably was.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
A very interesting choice to just like acknowledge that you're watching a TV show is like a very specific choice to make.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
No, producer's friend.
Producer's friend, and she is dancing hard, y'all. She is working it out. Let's see.
I'm going to ask our producer to look up the actress that played Jill and see if she ever recovered career-wise. Maybe she's in 100 episodes of Hillbillies or something. We don't know.
Yeah. Jill could be fine.
As we've established, there are only 100 actors at this time. And that's why people recur as different characters on the same TV show.
The time.
Every single person we've ever looked up has been in 100 episodes of something, because it's like, you need an old woman. Well, there's only 2 of them. So
it's either Betty or Joyce. Gotta go with Betty or Joyce.
I have devastating news for the podcast.
No. What is it?
Is this her entire filmography?
Oh, no.
Well, she was in the Monkees, 1966.
Nice. Good for you, Jill. You're doing it.
That's the whole filmography.
No, Jill. Oh, Jill. Does it say like what she's gone on to do? Like Jill was a producer, and
Jill Van Ness was born December 1st, 1943 in Miami, Florida. She was an actress known for the Monkees. She died on April 3rd, 2011 in Reno, Nevada, USA.
Oh, okay. Just a moment of silence for Jill.
Jill came so close.
Okay. So I'm like legitimately sad for Jill. I hope she, found a career in like real estate or something.
If there's one thing I'm confident at, the only thing you can really find happiness with in this life is a career in show business. So I'm sure it worked out badly for her. She would have been much happier.
No, she sold condos. She had a family. Jill. I'm sorry
this
I made
one single thing we watched is your credit.
I'm sorry I made fun of you, Jill.
Jill, you got screwed by, let's be honest, male writers.
Yeah. You're real cute. You looked really good, even though they shot you from underneath on that beach scene.
Could have been a recurring will they or won't they for 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Manager's daughter.
Yeah.
Manager is into it or is not into it. Plenty of stuff to work with there. Replaced with test footage.
I'm sorry, Jill. I feel so bad. Okay. All right. I really feel. Oh, all right. Okay. Then, all right. So they singing the song. Oh, they're singing Let's Dance On, which is a song that I actually kind of like, even though it names 60s dances, which is always like fun because you're like, what the heck is that? Like the action? What's the action? I don't know what that is.
Right into the show. Tell us what the action is.
What is the action? Because they mentioned the
Send
Watusi.
a diagram.
We've all heard of the Watusi.
You got the Watusi, you got the Batusi. You got to do the swim.
Mm-hmm. For years I thought like Batman like appeared on the Monkees. Like for some reason in my head I always thought
very
that like
possible they could have had a crossover.
They never,
very similar aesthetic.
They never did. And for some reason in my head I thought like they would cut to an exterior building and like Batman would be climbing up. I thought that happened. You have like that weird false memory. I swear I thought.
If you're good at editing, make this happen.
Please make my dreams come true.
Let's deep fake this.
Put Batman in an episode of the Monkees. Oh, I know which one too. The one where they steal the portrait. Anyway, okay. So there's title card again. Oh no, trouble is afoot or something. And then the mean girl dancing. She like tight-lipped, mean look on her eyes, but she gets stars in her eyes. And Davy falls in love with her, this mean-looking girl.
And then the whole band knows what's happening, even though the audience is left in the dark. Which is that, again, as has not been established, one of our bandmates is going to ruin our gig by falling in love with a girl
Yep.
on a whim, but none of that's been established. It just happens. They just respond to something that's not been established.
Right.
And then the episode ends and black and white test footage rolls.
Yes, because they're like, oh, that didn't work. Yeah, and everybody runs out of the room. Everybody runs out. They chase Davy out. Does the girl run out? I don't even know what happens to the girl. They just chase Davy out, and then like all the people at the party run out.
They're all mad at him because they saw the twinkly eye thing happen. They were into the music, but then the twinkly eye thing happened.
Like, what sorcery is this?
They're as mad as the rest of the band.
Kill him. And then and then Mickey and Peter introduced the footage. So they are dressed up. They're from a gypsy episode. That's what Peter is wearing. There's an episode with gypsies later on, and Peter is being wacky and silent. You know what? These last 2 episodes, has Peter had any lines? These last 2 episodes that we've watched.
Which one is Peter?
The blonde one, the bass player. Like, he's said nothing.
I agree. Should he be saying stuff? Rank them for me.
Peter's the best, the cutest, and the nicest.
Are you just saying that because he doesn't talk?
Oh no, you've looked into my soul.
He's not ruining it by opening his mouth.
Oh no, I've revealed too much.
Well, she is a groovy bird. Let's go break into that country club.
Yeah, they don't really have personalities either. They haven't settled into, because like Davy is the cute one.
No, they weren't introduced at all.
Yeah, you're right. They just ran in.
This fails some things you want to accomplish in a pilot, which is like introducing the premise of the show, right, what the character types are, creating some like will they or won't they, or like this like conflict,
right?
A real Sam and Diane thing. Where you're like, oh, we'll watch 100 episodes to find out like whether the wacky one and the quiet one do the whatever. But instead, it's just 4 guys.
4 guys that run around.
They sometimes play music. They sometimes run in triple speed.
Yes.
But we don't know really their names, what personalities,
you're right.
What personalities they might have.
I think we only know Davy.
Anything about their background.
No.
What their ambitions are other than to
play music,
make $150.
Their hopes, their dreams.
Well, they didn't want the gig because it's just a party.
Yeah, Sweet 16. Boo.
They want to be famous.
Clearly. Oh man! Wow. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing about Mickey being the wacky one.
No one who watched this, having not seen any other Monkees, would be able to tell you what their names were.
Yeah.
Or to separate one from the other in any way, except that one of them is like bad with women. He's cruel to women.
Yes.
So there's the tiny guy that's cruel to women.
And then there's the others.
And then there's 3 other guys.
Yeah. Man, wow. Yeah. Well, I couldn't see this episode when I was a kid, so that's why I hated it.
Right. But if you were, if we were network executives or a test audience,
boo.
And they'd be like, well, which one's your favorite? And you'd be like, well, not the short one.
Yeah.
One of the other 3.
Yeah.
Excited to find out what happens to Peter next week? Like, who's Peter?
I like the old lady with the change belt. What happened to her?
I thought the father of the Sweet 16 girl was good.
Yeah,
they should bring him back.
He was really good.
Test audience note. He had a lot of charisma and fun. He has like a character arc where he hates the Monkees, but then he's like desperate for the Monkees to make women stop crying. He's betrayed his country club. He has a rich. He has a rich character arc.
Why did they write?
And he's a good actor.
They wrote so much for him. They gave him so much.
And so that should be the show, probably.
Right? Yeah. Vanessa Russell and her dad, the Russells.
Yeah.
What will happen at her 18th birthday party?
Right. Is the country club ever going to forgive him?
Yeah. Will they ever play cards again in the card room? Shh. Why are you quiet in the card room?
Is that a rule? Is the plot of this movie where a band hips up like a staid upper class?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an earlier precedent for this plot? Because I have a later one. This was very reminiscent to me of something that
I don't know.
And I'm wondering what the one I'm thinking of is ripping off.
I don't know. Maybe like jazz.
It's not this pilot.
Maybe jazz musicians might be an earlier.
But like, is there like a sitcom trope or a movie trope where like a hip young, basically Caddyshack, but for a band?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Because in the movie Cool as Ice, starring Vanilla Ice,
you're right.
One of the finest movies ever made, but not necessarily known for its original plots. It's very much like a Rebel Without a Cause ripoff and some other things. Run out there and watch Cool as Ice.
Yes, please do.
A movie made within the small window where Vanilla Ice was king of the world. There's like a 6-month window where things are going great for him, and they write, film, edit, and release the movie in that window. And it's like my favorite movie.
There's a fun house in that movie, a fun art
There's
house.
a lot of fun stuff in that movie.
I like that house.
The podcast from now on is just going to be about this movie. The rest of the episode's just going to be about the movie Cool as Ice. The cinematographer on Cool as Ice is also the cinematographer. He's a Polish guy. This is his first American movie or close to it. And less than a year later, he's the cinematographer on Schindler's List, and he's Spielberg's cinematographer on every Spielberg project since then. So Cool
that's
as
why
Ice,
the opening looks so good. The
whole movie looks brilliant, and
but
it's
I
because
love
it's by
the shadowiness.
It's because it's by a Academy Award-winning cinematographer 6 months away from working on what he's supposed to be working on, and instead he's working on like a 6-week thing that was written in 2 days and stars Vanilla Ice, who through no fault of his own hasn't had time to take acting classes and has been handed the worst script ever written.
He's not bad.
Vanilla Ice is a very handsome man, and I think he does as well in this movie as anyone would, given truly atrocious
but
dialogue.
I don't remember him being
like
bad.
The
you know what I mean?
Father of the love interest in Cool as Ice is like the father from Growing Pains, someone who should be good at acting and is as bad or worse as Vanilla Ice in this movie. It's one of the sitcom dads. If not Growing Pains, it's one of the other ones.
Yeah,
someone that has 10,000 hours of playing the father experience is also just awful.
Although I do have a question. Why the weird fast motion when we're first introduced to the family? Do you remember that? Like
in Cool as Ice?
In Cool as Ice, yes.
I think the same as this pilot, because the cinematographer can make whatever choices he wants, and the cinematographer is exceptionally skilled. There's all sorts of trick shots. There's all sorts of beautiful, like wide cinematography.
You're right.
You got to watch Cool as Ice. It's one of the best shot, worst written films of all time, which is why it works.
Yeah, I'm
like
playing
if it was
it over in
if
my
it was
head.
point and shoot, it wouldn't be as engaging. But it's truly a visual masterpiece, starring Vanilla Ice as a rapper that travels from town to town on motorcycles with his rap posse. His backup dancers come with him on their own motorcycles. They go from town to town. They do take over like a local. When they first get to this town, they go to like a lame party.
Oh, right.
Where like a lame band is playing and everyone's a nerd. And then they like hip it up and everyone they blow minds with the rapping of Vanilla Ice.
Because
and
he's the best.
Everyone that's a teenager in the movie is like a 30-year-old in real life. They're not even short or baby face. They're just like full blown adults.
Who's the love interest? Who's the girl?
No, Naomi Campbell is in the movie.
Naomi Campbell is dancing in the movie. Yeah, I remember that.
The actress.
She's but yeah, who is that? I liked her. She was good.
The director of Cool as Ice had, previous to this, directed a lot of softcore pornography exclusively. He was a Playboy director.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Cool as Ice didn't really make its money back at the box office, he went back to directing pornography. And then he had a second chance at the prize. He directed the Inspector Gadget movie. And then I assume went back to
poor thing.
Pornography.
I am so sorry.
Kristen Minter plays Kathy.
Okay.
Naomi Campbell is third billed, even though she has no lines. She just dances in the title sequence.
Because it's Naomi fucking Campbell, y'all. She is amazing.
Father?
Yeah, who is that? I don't remember. It's
Michael Gross.
Oh, it's Family Ties.
Yes.
And what's weird is that like he's played villains.
And he has an MFA from Yale, and he is Ed Wood bad in this movie, but and so makes me think that maybe it's not entirely the actor's fault.
Well, isn't he trying to play kind of villain like? He's just because he's
trying to keep Vanilla Ice away from his daughter, as you would.
But like, isn't there like a subplot like
he's an ex-spy
or something?
Without spoiling anything, he's in the witness protection program because he's a cop that exposed other bad cops, and those bad cops see him on the TV. The single broadcast when his daughter wins like a scholarship on national news. And they drive across the country to murder him.
They weren't already in the town.
And he mistakenly believes that Vanilla Ice is affiliated with these gangsters.
Right.
There's a mystery that's solved Sherlock Holmes style. It rips a Sherlock Holmes plot off. Very much a rebel without a cause thing happening.
Definitely.
The movie was written in less than a week, I'm guessing, but it's fantastic just because it's shot
Yeah.
the way the Spielberg, which the cinematographer's fantastic.
Yeah. I thought Michael Gross was going for am I the villain of this film? Am I a good guy? I thought that's what he was going for. I don't remember it being bad.
No, he's the good guy, but he's protective of his daughter because he's in the witness protection program.
Right, but
he's just like a stern generic.
But they're keeping that part a secret from the audience. I seem to remember them like we as an audience don't really know.
I've seen the movie about 20 times. I don't think that's correct.
Okay, well I was confused. Let's put it this way:
get yourself a Laserdisc. Get yourself a Laserdisc player. Watch Cool as Ice.
I thought he was going to turn out to be the villain for like a good portion of the movie. I thought that he was like going to kill his daughter or Vanilla Ice or something. I honestly thought that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not going to watch the movie again, but
it's quite good.
No, I'm not going to watch the movie again.
Beautiful shots.
Okay, I'll watch it on mute. Will that work?
Beautiful. I mean, the dialogue is bad in a way that has brought me a lot of joy in my life.
No, I seem to remember actually being
looky
upset.
At Cat's Black Bookie.
Oh.
Drop that zero and get with the
a hero. Okay, I enjoy that line.
The tagline for the movie, the poster, Cool as Ice.
Mm-hmm.
The promotional pitch. How do you melt the heart of stone? Let me ask you that. How do you melt the heart of stone?
You can't. It's stone.
Just add ice is the answer. It's a truly broken metaphor, and it's on the poster. It's on the box. It's the best they had.
Oh,
how
my
do you melt
Lord.
a heart of stone?
Doesn't he steal something from her?
He steals her contact book.
Yeah.
He breaks into her house, as you do when you're wooing a woman. We've established that from the Monkees.
Of course.
100% way to win over a woman. Break into her bedroom.
Crimes.
Steal something. She'll notice it's gone. She'll suspect you in like a romantic way.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. So we've pivoted, folks. We've pivoted.
From now on, the podcast is just about this one movie. Every week we watch this one movie, and it's good. We just enjoy it. It's a good movie.
No, I will enjoy
Vanilla Ice's best movie, in my opinion. Much better than the other thing he was in.
What other thing was he in?
Ninja Turtles 2, they break through a wall, and Vanilla Ice is rapping, and then he improvises a rap about ninjas.
All right, good night,
What
everybody.
else was he in?
I think we're done. We're done. I can't.
Thank you for listening to the Cool as Ice podcast.
I can't.
I've been Jason Van Glass. My guest this week.
No more. I don't like that man. I don't. I'm sure he's a very nice man. But honestly,
Vanilla Ice?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to cover my bases there because
some more Vanilla Ice facts for you.
Oh, no.
I don't know what the current quote is.
Okay.
About 15 years ago, you could hire him to perform really anywhere for $15,000.
I think he was doing he
will only play the heavy metal version of Ice Ice Baby. He will not play his one song.
Oh my God.
He's a real estate agent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That real estate
might have been arrested for domestic abuse. Don't quote me on that. We're gonna want to Google that, but I don't think post 1992 has been good to him. In part because he won't embrace what people want from him, which is just like just wear goofy clothes and play this one song.
Yeah,
he was very committed to just like, I am a serious rapper.
No, you're not.
I'm a hardcore rapper from Dallas. I was making gangster raps before I got pinned into this thing. It's very much related to the Monkees.
Oh, no,
putting out serious folk music,
but
people don't want your serious folk music. They want your studio songs that some guy wrote.
No.
About being free as a bird. And if you're willing to sing free as a bird, you tour forever. But if you resent it, if you fight it,
there is a lesson.
You might have to sell real estate in Arizona.
Okay, there is a lesson there.
The Vanilla Ice story.
But I just remember in high school, because that's how old I am. All of my white friends hated rap. Oh, rap's terrible. Boo. And then this crap ass song comes out.
Point. And a large way of Vanilla Ice integrated rap and made rap accessible to the mainstream. And we should probably be thanking him.
Can't stop playing this
for platforming rap music
dumbass
as
song.
A worldwide genre.
Just dumb, terrible song.
All thanks to Rob Van Winkle, aka Vanilla Ice.
They're bumping it in their cars, and I'm like, why?
It's not that terrible. It's Queen. It's just a Queen
that's
song.
A whole nother level. Oh my god,
that's a pretty good song.
A Queen song that I liked, that I enjoyed, and then he says, "No, it's not the same." I added a boom in
it's different.
Oh my gosh. So much high school pain you have unearthed. Just so much. Just my musical snobbery was offended by it. My protective.
I believe he's the
my
first person
culture?
to go number one with a rap song. I don't think it was MC Hammer. I think it was him. Very much. He's the Elvis of rap.
Exactly. Yes, that is
But
that
unlike
is my
Elvis,
problem.
his movies are good.
All right. Okay. Well,
With Elvis, you'd be like, well, we could trade 20 movies for 2 more songs. We would have been a better trade. With Vanilla Ice, we're happy he made those 2 movies, but we don't need more songs. It was a good use of his time to make those movies.
you're blowing my mind, Jason Van Glass. I can't. I just can't. I've got too much to think about. You gave me the Star Trek thing last episode.
Sure.
Now it's Vanilla Ice. I can't. My world has been I'm shook. I've been shaken to the core. I can't. We got to wrap this up because I need to go lie down somewhere for a bit. Thank you, Jason Van Glass.
Thank you for indulging me.
This has been a journey.
We've all learned a lot about ourselves.
Where can people? Oh, that's right. We have news.
I've broken 2,000 Twitter followers.
Thanks to this podcast.
But you're still, if you're listening to this right now, you are contractually obligated to follow me on Twitter at Jason Van Glass. You don't need to read it or like it. You just need to follow it. I just want the illusion of success.
And maybe he'll blow your mind about some other pop culture phenomenon that you thought was totally benign.
I am tweeting a lot about Star Trek at approximately 3 a.m, but no other tweets are being sent at this time.
Yeah, so you should.
So you probably won't even see the tweet, but
Yeah.
if you're awake in the middle of the night, you
Yeah.
might learn something about my take on Star Trek.
check it out.
I do travel. I have other projects. The way to find out about them. Jason Van Glass.
Jason Van Glass.
All
Yeah.
social media except Facebook.
He is a joy.
Venmo me $1 at Jason Van Glass.
Okay. And thank you to, I believe it's, I forgot your name, Lynch, the person that reviewed us and said that the show was good and you gave us 5 stars and you're awesome and I love you and I will not speak quietly anymore. I will speak up. Thank you so much. Please join Mr. Lynch. I'm assuming your name is Lynch. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this. So please join him, subscribe, leave a rating and review, add a 3rd review on Apple Podcasts, folks.
Tell us how to do the Watusi in an iTunes review.
And the action.
Surefire way to make us learn how to do all these dances.
Yes. Find us on all social media at Monkees Podcast. Support the show by getting official podcast merch at dragonwagonshop.com. And we've gone places. I'm gonna go lie down. You guys, I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Hi, I'm Jake Lloyd, and I am a lifelong pro wrestling fan.
And I'm Alexandra Hoy, brand new to this bizarre and inspiring world of drama, action, and comedy that I was surprised to fall in love with.
If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Pro wrestling has something for everyone.
So, of course, I want to know everything. But I've got decades worth of stories and characters to catch up on.
So what better crash course in WWE history for my better half here than the iconic Royal Rumble match?
Once a year, 30 wrestlers compete in one massive match, and we're watching all of them.
We pick a random year out of the Jar O Rumbles and watch it in real time right alongside you on each episode of our enlightening podcast, Me, You, and 30 Other Men.
So join us at meyouand30.com or wherever you podcast.
It's Dragon Wagon.